We're all set? Yep. So Samantha McFarland?
Yes.
Is it MC?
MC Big F-A-R-L Andy.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna actually have you kind of repeat what we were just talking about.
Okay.
So how do we get there? I mean, talk about your life when, your addiction journey kind of started.
Okay. So it started for me, um, some might say a little bit later in life. I was around like 21, 22, when I started partying a little bit past like alcohol and the weed. Started off with like, oh, here, take one of these. And it was a pill, and I liked the way it made me feel. And so I would party on the weekends, or if I woke up hungover and had a bunch of stuff to do the next day, then I would, take one, and it would kind of make me feel better for the day. And then slowly but surely it became a more often thing. The pills then grew into heavier pills, started off with like the lighter, less, I guess, potent pills. Then it went up to heroin. Started off with just like snorting heroin. Then it led to using needles, and then the drugs kind of expanded from there. It was not just heroin, it was whatever I could get my hands on.
So when we were just talking, I mean, you mentioned you're checking off, nevers. I mean, go back to that. I mean, because needles. I mean, I'm sure I can sit here and say, oh, I would never use a needle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big thing that I share with other people, whether it be in the professional realm and or in like a recovery room. Is my nevers. I started crossing off pretty quick. So at the beginning it was, I'll never do pills, or I'll never be addicted. Not me, it can't happen to me, right? Like I come from a good family and a good city and a good school, whatever. And then each time that I would go back out or relapse, I would cross off one of those nevers. Like, I'll never steal, I'll never use a needle, I'll never do heroin, I just do pills.
So did you get to that point? I mean, you mentioned I would never steal, and you checked that off.
Mm-hmm.
So were you stealing to feed your addiction?
Absolutely. There was a lot of nevers that I crossed off that list.
Hmm. What was the first, you said somebody kind of gave you a pill. What was the first pill you had?
It was a Vicodin, and I remember that day like yesterday. I was in the back seat of a car with friends, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, I wonder when it's going to kick in, and what is it going to feel like, because I'd never done anything like that. Growing up, through my teenage years, I never touched anything like that. And then it hit, and then that's when I was kind of in, oh, okay, I like this. I like this feeling.
It felt really good.
Yeah, I always tell people when they ask, like, why did you use, it shut my brain off, right? Like I was always trying to do all of the things all the time, and not only just do all of the things, but be perfect at doing all of the things. So my brain, 72 tabs open all the time. And when I took that Vicodin, my brain went quiet, and I really liked that.
I'm curious about your upbringing. You said it was a good school. I mean, where did you grow up?
So I always tell people that I'm like kind of lucky. I've seen both sides of the coin. I grew up in the north end of Toledo until I was about 10 years old, and then Mom moved my brother and I to Sylvania, where I entered McCord, and then I graduated from Sylvania Southview.
But the whole alcohol, drugs, I mean, that was kind of late in life.
Yeah. So my mom always tells me, like, you were just so sweet. I never had any behavior issues with you, when you would go and stay at friends' houses, parents would always rave that you were really kind and you minded. And I remember through high school, I had friends that had dabbled in drugs. And I remember thinking, like, why are you doing that? Look at all these bad things that are happening to you. Like, why are you doing that? And I remember a specific friend that I had, and I literally asked her the question, like, just stop. Like, why can't you just stop? And then later on in life, full circle type of thing, I found out. Yeah.
Do you remember the day do you remember the day when you said, I'm addicted?
Yeah. It was a physical symptom thing for me. I had no intention on using that day. I had no desire to wake up and go seek it go seek the money, go get the drugs. I had no want. And I remember, like, I have to. If I'm going to function today, I have to.
And the drug was heroin, and you had to go get it?
Yes. Yep.
So what do you say to people that just, look, I hear about these people getting addicted. That's crazy. It could not happen to me. What do you say to them?
As if they were right here, right now, saying like it couldn't happen to you. Oh man. So first, I just know that, hey, I'm definitely gonna pray for that person. But I always use my experience to the best of my ability. I think it's like the biggest weapon I have to help this community. Is I said those words too. I said those exact words. I was on an elevator at Zeph Center when it was Compass. I can tell you exactly where I was the first time I said that to another young woman. And how impactful that was to me to this day, because I just know how untrue that is. Addiction can happen to any single person on this planet.
So what's a moment or experience that you look back on when you're like, I need help? This isn't me.
It started, the first time I thought to myself I needed help was the physical symptoms, where I knew like, okay, I do not feel well, right? I had all of the sickness symptoms that you have, like flu-like symptoms. And then as it progressed, I knew that I needed help when people who loved me started asking if I was okay. Okay, are you okay? Because they didn't necessarily know exactly. At the time, at the beginning, I thought I was pretty good at hiding it. I was still maintaining a job, right? I was still taking care of like minimum responsibilities, the basic ones, so people wouldn't ask. When people who loved me started asking like, hey, are you okay? That's when I was like, wow, Sam, maybe you do have a problem. Other people are starting to notice.
And at some point you had kids along the way.
Yes, I have 2 little boys who are perfect as can be.
Well, what was that like? I'm sure when you had them and they were very young and you were probably addicted, you were on drugs at that point. I mean,
Yeah.
did you lose them?
Yes. So my oldest, I had him in 2016, and he, through the pregnancy, I was on Suboxone. So when I had him, he was born addicted. So that was a whole new experience for myself. I tried my hardest. I remember I made it maybe 4 days after giving birth. Then I returned to drugs. I hid it for quite some time. My family thought having him was kind of like what I needed to just finally be done. And I remember saying the words like, oh, I could never use drugs as a mom. Like, don't you love your kids enough? And then I did. So his dad quickly stepped in when he was 3 months old, gave me a chance to go to rehab, and I did. And then we kind of went back and forth for about 2 years, which led me to overdosing with him in the car. And then that's when Dad finally put his foot down hard and actually took him away, where I wasn't able to physically come and visit or do any of those things. And then 2 years after that, I started really getting help, like going inpatient, sober living, making meetings, finding support, willing to do the things that it would take to recover. And then I had my youngest, and I wasn't using drugs, but I wasn't doing anything to ensure that I wouldn't return to drugs. Like, I put the drugs down, but life really hadn't changed. It was a couple weeks after having him, I had returned to drugs. That went on again for about 1.5 years, 2 years, to when I finally got sober. For real sober, changing life, not just putting drugs down. Because every chance I get, I share that, like, there is a huge difference between getting sober and being in recovery.
So you said you were in the back seat of a car and you overdosed with who?
I was actually the driver of the car. And I was with my oldest son at the time. He was 3, going on 4.
And you overdosed when you were with your son?
Yes, yep.
What do you remember about that experience?
So I remember getting the drugs with my son in the backseat. Went to this extremely unsafe place with the most precious thing I have to the house. I got the drugs over off the Greenbelt area, and memory stops there. I did the drugs there, and I was woken up on Sylvania Avenue at the, Family Dollar there, right before Secor. So I drove all the way from Greenbelt entrance to the expressway there, that far and I mean, I've tried everything to bring memory and absolute blackout, incoherent, and that's where I was woken up.
When you say you overdosed, did you ever stop breathing?
Yes, I've been Narcaned more than I care to admit. Yep, they've had to Narcan me several times. At that particular overdose, I think it was three like doses of Narcan.
Is it because it was laced with like fentanyl or?
Probably, though I was seeking just that drug. You know, I was seeking the opiate effect. That's what it does. It was just a little much. I wasn't seeking to overdose with my kid in the car, but that's the insanity part, right? We're willing to take that risk at that time with my baby in the backseat.
So was there a moment when you're like, what in the hell am I doing?
The second my eyes opened and I seen the police officer and EMT and my son over on the way, they were calling for either my mom or his dad to come. Yeah, it absolutely hit me like a ton of bricks. And I would love to say that I stayed sober from that moment forward, but I didn't. It took a little bit longer. I remember just really beating myself up for that. Like I had to kind of pay to the universe. But it was within that year, like that provoked my family looking for an out-of-state rehab. I remember DART coming in and doing their best with me, and I'll do everything right just to get anybody and everybody off my back. That happened, I think to the date, it was a year and a half later, which would be August 31st, 22, which is my sobriety date.
So did you get involved with DART because you were in trouble legally?
Originally, yeah, because when they came and visit me, I had no idea what DART even was. I really, when Sean came to, was it Flower Hospital, I had just driven into somebody's front yard. Like I remember it being this, like, she looked so scared. Older woman, she was in a robe, and all she wanted to do was hug me. She was telling the EMT, she was like, she's so scared. And I remember thinking in my head, I'm so scared. Like, I just almost drove through your house, lady, you know? But yeah, so I got involved with them. I knew they were help because they were like, listen, like you need serious help, you know, or you're gonna end up in prison or worse, dead. And that's kind of when my journey with them started. And they did, oh man, you guys are really great people, because I gave them a run for their money. Yeah, the moment I would get picked up, you know, I'm calling DART, like, please, I'll do anything you say this time. And every time they were like, okay, are you ready? They'd get me in somewhere. And they did what they said. When they told me they were gonna do something, they did it. And I remember being in jail and I was just calling everybody like, no, you gotta call my DART officer. You gotta call my DART officer. And they're like, we did. They told us to just give them a second. I'm like, but it's been 7 minutes. Call my DART officer. And yeah, they never made me feel like small or like I wasn't capable of it. And they also just didn't give up on me, which is pretty cool.
So Sean is your DART officer?
Yep.
So talk about Sean, what he means in your life.
Oh, it's super cool. I'm not gonna cry, but it's super cool today for me, the relationship that I'm able to have with him, just because now that I work in the field and I get to see it, I kind of have like a little insight to probably what they felt like working with people like me. You know, just the desperation of wanting somebody to just get it. Like, here are the tools, you know, like probably many times you wanted to shake me because now I know. But just human, made me feel really human. not like a bad person, not a bad mom, not somebody who's not worthy of her kids, right? They were always just very, you feel like family with them instead of somebody like so clinical or, you know, I've got to put you in this treatment center. It was somebody that they want to help.
So one of the angles of this story is that overdoses have gone down significantly in Lucas County. I don't know if you have any thoughts on why that might be. I mean, do you have any thoughts on why?
I absolutely do. Yeah, because of programs like DART. Absolutely. I mean, to me, that's kind of like, well, duh, right? But it absolutely is because of programs like that. And I think the work that our community does to kind of remove that stigma, especially for parents in addiction, people that have, careers and professions that feel like, oh man, if I go and ask for help, I'm going to lose this, or, I can't be seen asking for help in that. Because I think the silence on addiction is what leads to overdoses. Is people that are trying to live these double lives that I did for so long, is what leads to overdoses.
Was there a lot of shame associated with your addiction? Did that
Absolutely.
prevent you from getting help?
Absolutely, especially when I became a mother, because I had this idea in my head that if I couldn't beat addiction, that meant I didn't love my children, right? That they weren't the most important thing in my life, and all of the things that I would tell myself on repeat. Today I know different, but for a long time, shame kept me from even walking back into an AA meeting or reaching out to friends that I knew were in long-term sobriety. Crossing off those nevers kind of add to that shame. Yeah.
Did you get suicidal?
I think like drug-induced suicidal, because of the mental health part that drugs bring. I just wasn't in my right mind. Yeah. So there were times where I'm like, I just really hope this kind of takes me out, which is scary to think about that I was ever in a place like that, because Sam without drugs would never. I love life, right? So I can think back to times where I would be using drugs and kind of think to myself like, let this just, end it.
What do you think of that person when you think back on the old Sam? I mean, what are your thoughts about her?
Well, after doing a lot of work, because initially the thoughts I had about her are what kept me sick for a long time, because I thought I kind of had to beat her up and teach her a lesson, before she was worthy of a life of recovery. But today, she was doing the best she could, right? Like the best that she could at that time. And if I could go back, I would just hug her. But today I know, like, she was just doing the best she could.
What was the job you were doing back then? Other than being a mother, I mean, did you have a job that you're going to every day?
Yeah, so I was a waiter. Waited tables for as long as I can remember. It was my first job. So a lot of times that's what worked, because I could find work really easily. So if I lost a job, no problem. I'll just go get another one. A lot of job losses due to addiction, showing up late, sick, can't go to work. I remember just all things related to my using.
Yeah. So what's life look like for you now?
Oh, that's where I am going to get emotional, because it's so good. It's so good. I'm a very present mother. I went from being legally not allowed to be around my children to their safest person. And then I say that with my whole chest, because I take a lot of pride in that. There was a time I couldn't even talk to my kids on the phone. And today, like, we have wrestling practice today, and I'm looking forward to it. And I get to help other people who felt like I did at one time. I absolutely love my job.
So talk about your job. I mean, what do you do exactly?
I'm a case manager here, and I actually just took a little promotion for lead case management. And I help people, I describe it, I said it earlier, as help other humans be human, right? So anything outside of therapy, you name it, I want to help, whether it be job readiness, you need community resources to help get by until you're employed. I've seen people, I go to the BMV, I'm known well there. I work with people in the courts. I have community clients that I help, keep their animals if they're going through a financial hard time. Anything to help people just feel human and, keep their dignity.
So what's the first thing you say to somebody that says, I'm not worthy, I'm just not worthy, you're not going to be able to save me?
I'm not interested in saving you, but I know that feeling you have right now of not feeling worthy, what worked for me was I didn't believe a lick of what I said because I wasn't very trustworthy, so my brain didn't believe me. So if you can just do me a favor and believe me for a second and know that you are worthy. I believe you're worthy. I know you're worthy. So if you can just believe me for a moment, it'll catch up for you.
That's got to be incredibly, to be able to do that every day and work with people and actually help them turn their lives around, it's got to be incredibly gratifying.
It absolutely is. To see the light come back on for people, I can't describe it. People, I've tried, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, but there are no words for that. When you see somebody come in to an appointment like with their kids, or they're calling you to complain about their busy schedule, and I'm like, hey man, we prayed for stuff like this, So, or even just see somebody, smiling or being able to laugh again, simple things. Showering again, taking care of themselves, caring to do those things is super cool.
Yeah. And I guess we'll just kind of wrap it up, talking about, again, DART briefly. These guys they could just throw you in a cell.
Absolutely.
Forget about you. But they don't.
No.
So what's that mean to you and other people out there that are dealing with this?
Well, it means the world to me. 2 little boys got their mom back because of them. I think it means second chance, and not just with words. Like, when people say, let me know if I can do anything for you. And stuff. If anybody's ever going through anything hard, oh man, let me know if you need anything, right? They mean it. They mean it, and they show up. And what a beautiful thing, because it's life or death. It's not, we're going to help you get this job you've really wanted. We're going to help you continue to live another day. And that's huge. I think, that's a priceless gift. I don't think I can really put into words, because I'm grateful for them.
And you just mentioned life and death. I know I said that was my last question, but have you ever been in the presence of somebody that overdosed and died in front of you?
Yes.
Can you talk about that? I don't want names or anything, but.
Yeah, I will say it wasn't enough to get me sober. So something that traumatic, something that scary as death, right? Of somebody who was my friend, right? It didn't scare me enough to get sober. So I kind of always think of those insane moments that have happened throughout my addiction to know just how serious addiction is. And that's why it is so important for me to do what I do and remember that I am an addict, and there are things that I have to do on a daily basis to stay in recovery, because there is nothing outside of me that will scare me into recovery or,
Were you guys sharing drugs when this happened?
I don't know particularly if it was like the same batch of it, but we were using like the same type of drug.
And then they just overdosed in front of you.
Yep.
That's all I got. Unless there's anything else you wanna. Any other general thoughts?
No, just thank you and thank DART. Like, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. There's never going to be words that I have for you guys. So thank you.
Yeah. I was trying not to cry because.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm a very emotional.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, she's got us all going.
I know. I'm trying not to be so that I cannot, but you can't not, man. You did. You honestly, I wish CJ and Logan were here today. And I had that chance, that was a cool thing for me to be able to do is two little boys who they're the coolest, most perfect human beings.
How old are they?
9 and 6.
Can you give me their names?
CJ and Logan. So, oh, I'm sorry. He likes to go by Chad. Yeah, I was like, oh.
9 and 6, and the 9-year-old has wrestling practice today, I'm guessing.
So 9-year-old's been wrestling since he was 4.
Oh, wow.
Little brother is joining. This is his first year. We just finished up acting classes for him. I think he's going to be more of my actor, my arts, because brother is total athlete.
Right.
But I get to be at every single thing because of recovery. Dart led me to a lifestyle that I can't tell you, like there's nothing I would trade it for, even on my worst days.
Yeah, cool. I like it.
Cool.
We're just gonna get some talk. We're just gonna get some shots of talking awkwardly. A little.
Yeah, no. I always talk with my hands too.
Mention once about the new dog either. I'm just a little.
And I have a friggin' kitten now,
Oh, see.
as of last week,
And was this a?
because of CJ. Yeah, I go to take Doug out, and I see this cotton ball running at me. I didn't even have time to think. I'm like, what is that? I hope it's not a possum. Even the dog put his paws out and shit like this, like, whoa. And it was this tiny cat. I thought I was gonna be a big badass and go and put it up, but I told CJ, I said, we're gonna get some soft dog food. We'll put it outside. Mommy will go get it scanned for a chip, and we'll make flyers. We'll do all the things. And he looks up at me and he goes, her name is Amy. I was like, you didn't hear a single thing I said?
I think he made the decision.
Yep, he sure did. But I seen myself. I was like, oh man, that is totally me at 9. So now we have a dog and a cat.
See, very cute.
Yeah, thank you.
Haven't seen the kid yet.
Yeah, I'll have to post him. I thought it was a girl. It's a boy.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah. You can't tell.
You can't
What are
tell.
you gonna say? Probably hard to
Yeah.
I have like 12 feral cats.
Aw.
Between my